Namaste, namaste, and welcome to Friday Night Yoga. And this is our last practice together before the Easter break. And today we're going to practice sun salutations. And we're going to do them in a way that is nice and adaptable depending on what's going on with your body. So if you fancy, you can use a couple of blocks just to raise the floor towards you in the lunges. And if you need to, you can have handy a folded blanket so that you can pop it underneath your knees for a little bit of extra support if you've got sensitive knees. So we will stop after the sun salutation and do a little centering and breathing at that point. But to begin with, taking the feet nice and wide apart, just soften the knees, resting your hands either on your abdomen or you can bring them together at the center of your chest, whichever you prefer. Closing the eyes or gazing gently downward. And taking a moment to just leave behind all of the things that you have been involved with today and step into this time and this space for yoga. Take a moment to observe how your body feels. Any areas that perhaps need a little extra care or attention paid to them during class. And particularly if you've been working hard, I know many of you have been working either cycling or some have already done a yoga practice or gardening intensively today, then just taking a moment to be aware of where the body has worked quite hard and where it might need a little bit of extra wriggling, a little bit of extra space. Then notice your breathing. And just gently deepening your breath. As you exhale, drawing the abdominal muscles inwards, drawing the navel towards the spine to fully exhale. And then breathing deeply into the sides of the body, the chest, the upper back. And breathing out slowly, deeply, completely, using that little engagement across the navel. Breathing into the rib cage, the collarbones, the shoulder blades. Breathing out slowly, deeply, and fully engaging across the navel. A couple more of these breaths, maybe 3. And as you breathe in, feel the breath lift you tall. As you breathe out, soften the effort in the face and the shoulders. Then at the end of your next exhalation, drawing your chin a little bit towards your chest, you can relax your arms down. You don't have to hold them wherever they've been. Just noticing how the back of the neck feels. That space perhaps across the tops of the shoulders or the back of the shoulders, shoulder blades. And then rolling the right ear towards the right shoulder and chin back towards the chest and left ear towards the left shoulder and chin to chest. Rolling a bit side to side. If this doesn't suit you as a movement, then feel free to move your neck in a way that feels good to you. Notice the connections between the jaw, the sides of the face, the ear, the sides of the neck, the front, the throat, the back of the neck, the shoulders, chest, and upper back. And if you find a spot where it feels useful to stop as you move to the right, just holding wherever it feels not useful, just to explore for a moment with your breath. And if you're holding in a place where you can't breathe softly but deeply, and that means That's not a great place for your body to be. When you're ready, you can bring your chin back to the chest and try exploring just a spot on the other side. It might be a completely different place. It doesn't need to be the same for balance. Stopping where it might be useful for a couple of deep breaths, seeing if you can soften the shoulders and the face just a little more. And then when you're ready, making any final adjustments and bringing your head back to the center. And then we'll just roll the shoulders a little bit. Let's roll the shoulders, yeah, why not? Get a bit of movement through the shoulders. And still feeling those connections into the neck and the chest and the upper back. Rolling the opposite way as well. Very good. And today we're going to use both arms at the same time. So a little softness in the elbows. You can cross the arms in front of you as you make big circles, and you can draw the elbows slightly back behind you as you open the chest. Allow your head to move as you move. Perhaps you want to look up as the arms go up, lift the chest, little gentle control across the belly, softness in the knee. Just a few of these really beautiful, expansive movements. And then we're going to go the opposite way as well. So reaching back with the hands as far back as feels comfortable, palms are up, and then crossing the arms in front of the body. If you feel able to coordinate it, you can alternate the cross of the arms or do a few one side and a few the other. And we'll do one more, unless you need to do two more for balance. Fantastic stuff. When you're done, just wriggling the shoulders out, swinging the arms, doing anything that feels good. We'll do a soft bounce into the knees and then a gentle twist from side to side. So this is particularly good before doing a sun salutation, because there's no twisting in the sun salutation. We're going to add one though. So Kati Chakrasana followed by sun salutation is quite a balanced practice if you want to do something short and sweet. We're going to let our shoulders really relax and gently engage across the belly. And when you're ready, you can rotate on your feet as well, just pivoting on the toes. Maybe touching the opposite shoulder in front of you, the opposite hip behind, unless you're enjoying wherever your arms are thumping. They don't have to thump very hard. Maybe doing a little light bounce in the knees. Beginning to feel that sense of being able to control your weight as it transfers from one foot to the other. There's a moment of centered balance, and then we twist. And we're going to let the bounce go, and then let our feet come to steadiness and sway the body back to steadiness just a little at a time, losing a touch of momentum. And then we come back to steadiness, just rolling the shoulders a couple of more times, making sure that they're feeling really good. Maybe roll them in a different way, waking up the sides of the body if you like. And we are ready for our practice. So today we're going to do our first round of sun salutations quite slowly, and we'll build up and see where it takes us. So if at any stage you feel that you need to rest, you can rest out for a whole salutation. You can take Shavasana at any stage, or rest in the pose of a child if you'd like to, or just simply stand. But we're going to start at the front of our mats with our feet whatever is comfortable for you. So it might be slightly wider than hip width, it might be slightly narrower, it doesn't matter. We're going to turn the palms of the hands forward, feel that sense of lift from the center of the feet right up into the crown of the head, lifting the abdominal muscles as well. drawing the shoulder blades slightly towards each other at the bottom as the top of the shoulder blades actually moves apart, creating space to lengthen the neck. Holding in Tadasana for a deep breath in and a deep breath out. We're going to breathe in here again. And as we breathe out, bring the palms together at the center of the chest. Breathe in, reaching the arms up to open the chest. And as you breathe out, soften your knees and fold forward into a forward bend. Now in the forward bend, we're holding the forward bend for a few deep breaths. So allow your breath to find a natural rhythm. And here you can use the blocks if you've got them handy to rest your hands on, or you might hold elbow to elbow, or you might turn the backs of the hands or the fingertips to the floor. Whatever position you're in, take a moment to just gently turn the head from side to side. And maybe nod the head backwards and forwards. See if it feels comfortable. You don't have to do it if it doesn't feel comfortable. And then maybe just gently lengthen through one leg as you bend the other knee a little deeper, like you were paddling in a down dog. And that will suffice for this round. So we're then going to take the hands towards the floor, bend the knees deeply and step the right foot back as far as it naturally goes and take the right knee to the floor. Now here, we're just going to sway the hips backwards and forwards. So we can lift the front toes as we lengthen the left leg and then press off the right foot to lengthen through the right hip flexor. Or you can keep the left toes on the floor if you prefer. Just a little bit backwards and forwards. And then in the center, sorry, not in the center, with the hips back, just gently wiggling the hips from side to side. So you don't have to have your front leg straight at all. You can have the knee nice and soft. I certainly am. Little wiggle of the hips from side to side, and then press off the right toes to come back into a lunge position. And from here, we're going to untuck the back knee. So lengthen the back leg, take the palms of the hands to the floor and step the left foot back so you come into plank pose. In plank pose, we're not holding it, but we do want to make sure that we're pressing the mat away and lifting in the belly so the hips aren't dropping towards the floor. From here, take the knees down and then lengthen your tailbone up slightly. So as if you were pressing the buttocks back ever so slightly to try to take the chest between the hands and the forehead or chin to the floor. When you get down, allowing the toes to untuck so the hips can be flat, the whole body lying flat on the floor. And we're gently going to inhale, drawing the shoulder blades towards each other to lift into a low cobra. Here the shoulders are down, the shoulder blades working towards each other, the elbows tight to the sides of the body. And then lifting in the belly muscles, coming back to hands and knees. And here we're going to stop, take the knees apart and circle our hips around the mat. So we get a little stirring action into the thigh bones. Into the thigh bones. Hopefully we don't stir the thigh bones, but stirring the bones in the hip sockets. And going the opposite way as well. Just releasing a little bit of effort from the back of the body. When you're ready, you can come back to center, just bringing the knees a little closer together, pressing into the hands and then unfurling the legs into a downward facing dog. It doesn't matter what your dog looks like, but we're going to paddle our dogs to help make it more spacious and more comfortable. So pressing into the fingertips and the heels of the hands, pressing the chest towards the thighs, just bending one knee and lengthening through the opposite heel as you lift in your belly muscles and lift your hips high as well. So to come forward, you can either bring your knees down and step your right foot to your hands, or you might try bouncing forward from your downward facing dog. So to do that, we drop the buttocks towards the heels by bending the knees, And then press off the toes to bring the shoulders forward over the hands. And then press off the hands to bring the buttocks back to the heels. So we bounce a little bit forward, a little bit backwards, and then on your next bounce, step your right foot forward at the same time. Doesn't matter how you get there, we'll meet up in the lunge and we're gently going to sway the hips backwards and forwards, just as we did on the way down, or the way at the beginning. And again, you can lift your toes or you can leave your toes towards the mat, whatever feels more comfortable. Just going backwards and forwards. We're not trying to get anywhere in particular. We're beginning the investigation into the hamstrings, but the next time your hips are back, just wiggling your hips from side to side. A little wave of the tail. Excuse me, I've filled this room with daffodils and I think the scent is just catching me. And then pressing off the left foot to come forward into your lunge, opening the chest as you look slightly forward, and then untucking the back knee so that you can press off that foot to bring the left foot forward and hold in your forward bend. So in your forward bend, again, it's elbow to elbow, turning the backs of the hands to the floor, using your blocks, fingertips, whatever feels good. But this time we're going to sway the upper body. So the knees can stay soft, little lift in the belly muscles, really relaxing in the back of the neck so that you're looking between the legs behind you and swaying the upper body from side to side, or doing a variation of this that suits you. When you're ready, you can come back to the center, and we're going to hinge from the hips to come up. So fingertips onto the floor or onto the blocks. Lift your chest first and look forwards. Then engage the belly, reach the arms out to the side, bend your knees, angle from your hips, hinging to come up. Lifting the chest, reaching the arms over the head, and then bringing the hands to the center of the chest as you exhale. We meet up in Tadasana. We'll relax the arms so that the shoulders relax completely, and we hold our neutral Tadasana at the end of the practice for a deep breath in and out here. Then we're going to breathe in again. And as we breathe out, bring the palms together at the center of the chest. Breathing in and reaching up, lifting the belly, opening the chest. And as you breathe out, soften the knees, angling forward from the hips to fold into your forward bend. And again, we're holding the forward bend, just a little paddle through the backs of the legs, or do whatever feels good to you. So if you want to bend the knees a little deeper and wriggle through your shoulders, or if you want to try lifting your toes up and down, one foot and then the other, which will stretch out your calves a little bit, you can do that. Whatever you're doing, join us back in the center, place the hands on the floor, and then step your left foot back as far as it goes, taking your knee down to the mat. And again, we're just swinging the hips backwards and forwards. If you want to, you can circle your hips here, doing a little hula hoop action. I'm avoiding that today because it's just not suiting that little twinge in my back. But if it suits you, you might like to do that. Backwards and forwards, or circling in the hips, whichever feels more comfortable. And then the next time you've got your hips back, just doing a little gentle sway of the tailbone from side to side. Maybe try it with the toes down and with the toes up to notice the difference. And then we're going to press off the left foot to bring the weight into the front foot, the right foot. Take the hands to the floor, untuck the back knee, and step into plank pose. Now I like to widen my feet in plank so they're the same distance apart as my hands. We're thinking about lifting in the belly muscles, pressing the heels down behind us, pressing into the floor, and then exhale the knees only down. Lift your tailbone as you inhale, and then exhale, bending the elbows straight back behind you. Bring the chest and the chin or the forehead to the floor. So you end up with the hands, the chest, the chin or forehead, and the knees and the toes on the floor, but nothing else. And then point your toes so your legs become flat, your hips can relax. Roll the shoulder blades towards each other, press the pubic bone down, firm the feet to the floor, and then as you inhale, open your chest looking forward into a low cobra. Take an exhale here, and then we're going to firm the belly and come straight into hands and knees, again widening the knees and doing a little bit of swinging the hips around the mat. So if you prefer here, you can hula hoop your spine. So a little cat-cow, but up and down and sideways if you like. I quite like that. And if you're doing that, going in both directions or turning, alternating the rotation of your swinging the hips around, whichever. And then coming back to the center, bringing the knees a little bit closer together, tucking the toes under. This time, we're going to press the chest towards the thighs before we take the knees off the floor. So almost like an extended child's pose, but the head is not on the floor. And then keeping the fingertips and the heels of the hands pressing down, just uncurl the legs. And see if you can come into your down dog this way. You may need to keep your knees still very bent, that's okay. A little paddling through the knees. It's just a different entry to come into your down dog. Little lift in the belly muscles, and then either bouncing forward from hips to heels and bouncing forward, or coming to hands and knees on the next bounce, or stepping the left foot forward, bringing the right knee to the floor, and again, just gently backwards and forwards in your lunge position. Flirting with the hamstring. We're going to do something else on the next round. The next time your hips come backwards. Oh, sorry, you can rotate, making hula hoopy circles if you prefer, of course. Next time your hips come back, doing a little wiggle from side to side. If you need to take more time to hula hoop, you can. Then when you're ready, you can press off the right foot, come into the lunge, look forward, take a deep breath in, shoulders back and down, deep breath out, and then untuck the back leg and just press off that foot to step into a forward bend. Holding your forward bend, any variation, swaying the upper body, or paddling through the knees, or turning the head, or a combination of everything. When you're ready, come back to the center, lift your head and your chest to look forward, firm the belly, reach the arms out to the side, bend the knees to drop the bottom, power through the legs to stand tall, and bring the hands to the center of the chest. Take a moment in Tadasana just to rest the arms down. I'm going to grab some chalk for my hands because it's been a really warm day and I've spent it all in the polytunnel and the hands are a little bit slippery these days. So all good. So now we've done our slower start. We're going to go a little bit more quickly. With your breath, you can do anything with your breath. So if you want to let your breath be quite natural, that's fine. If you want to coordinate your breath and your movement, that's fine. The breath comes last in our practice. So we learn how to put the movements together, what shapes our body is comfortable to make, how to transition, how to enter and exit. And the breath is the last component of our practice. So if you feel comfortable to add your breath already, that's great. If you feel comfortable to use your breath, then you can add that particularly good. Okay, so standing in Tadasana, turning the palms forward, taking a deep breath in, deep breath out, firm in the belly, another deep breath in, and then exhale as you bring the hands together at the center of the chest. Firm belly, inhaling, reaching up, opening your chest, and as you exhale, folding forward. Maybe you soften the knees, maybe you don't need to. Inhale here, stepping the right foot back as far as it goes, and then take the knee to the mat as you exhale. Allow your breath to be in a natural rhythm, and we're simply going to elasticate our lunge by lifting the back knee up and down. So keeping that lift in the belly muscles, keeping the feet perhaps pressing slightly away from each other, We're lengthening the right heel back as we lift the right knee, and we maybe take the leg straight-ish, but then immediately away. So just going up and down, feel what's going on in the front of the right thigh, the hip flexor. And then we're going to lift the heel, lift the knee, and then press into the hands and come into plank pose. Holding your plank for a deep breath in and a deep breath out, and then knees down, lift the hips and bring the chest and chin or forehead to the floor. Point the toes so your hips relax, firm the feet and the pubic bone down, and roll the shoulder blades together to come into a Cobra Pose. And this time in Cobra, we're just gently going to sway the upper body from side to side, like you were looking one side and then the other. Really firm in the center, coming back to the center, and then coming to hands and knees, and dropping the hips towards the heels as we tuck the toes under, keeping the chest down and simply uncurling the legs up into downward facing dog. So here again, if you want to, you can paddle. This is going to be the variation that we use for a few rounds for this side and the left side. And then hips towards the heels for a little light bouncing forwards and backwards. We're going to bounce twice and then step with our right foot. Left knee comes to the mat, and then elasticated lunging. So lifting the left knee up and down. Sounds very fun. Elasticated lunging sounds something like some kind of underwear, doesn't it? There we are. Okay, so pressing the feet apart, or perhaps feeling that you're drawing the thighs towards each other, thigh bones into the sockets rather. Just feeling that sensation of length perhaps in the left thigh, at the front of the quads, or in the hip flexor. And then the next time your knee is up, pressing forward off the left toes to step onto the right foot and come into the forward bend. And now, if you're ready to hold your forward bend, you can begin to hold with slightly lengthened legs. You don't want to lock the knees straight, but if you're still working towards being comfortable in the forward bend, keep moving in it. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And then when you're ready, look forward, lift the belly, lift the arms, drop the bottom, press through the legs to come up to standing, and exhale. Get the hands to the center of the chest. Inhale, release the arms, hold Tadasana as you exhale. Inhale once more, and exhale the hands together at the center of the chest. Inhale, reaching up, firm belly, looking up. Exhale, folding forward from your hips, hands to feet, head towards the knees. Hold the forward bend for a deep breath in. And a deep breath out. Soften your knees and then inhale as you step your left foot back and take your knee towards the floor. So here we're going to elasticate our lunge, but we want to focus on what the upper body is doing. So lifting in the belly, drawing the shoulders down, lengthening through the back of the neck, looking forward but down. So we don't want to lift with the chin too much here. We want to look forward but down, and then lifting the back knee so it's straighter, straightening the back leg, and then lowering the knee. If you can, this time, try not to touch the floor with the knee as you elasticate up and down. Sorry, keeping that firmness in the center of the body and the space between the shoulder blades nice and active. Allow your head to move as your spine moves. So pivoting a little bit on the neck. And then the next time you're extending through your heel, press your hands into the mat and come into plank pose. Maybe widen your feet if you need to. Press your heels away from you, press the mat away from you. Feel that lift underneath the body as you lift in the belly muscles. And then exhaling, knees, chest, and chin. If you need to drop the knees and go through it a little bit more slowly, you can. As you come down, relax the feet, relax the hips. Roll the shoulder blades towards each other, firm the feet and the pubic bone down, and lift up into a lowish cobra. Elbows are always bent in cobra, except in its very fullest expressions. Opening your chest by dragging the heels of the hands backwards and looking slightly forwards or slightly downwards if that helps. Another deep breath in and out. And then we're going to untuck the toes. Oh, sorry. No, we're going to come to hands and knees, my bad. Drop the hips towards the heels, pressing through the hands, and then just uncurling the feet, the legs rather, to come into downward facing dog. If you're ready to hold your dog, you can. If you'd like to keep moving, you can. Doesn't matter what you do here, as long as it feels nice and comfy. A round of holding is all good. And then we're going to bounce. So dropping the hips towards the heels with bent knees, powering through the feet to come forward over the hands, bouncing once, bouncing twice, and then stepping on your third bounce with your left leg forward. Drop your right knee down. Focusing on lifting in the belly, rolling the shoulder blades towards each other, looking forward, pressing into the fingertips perhaps, or using blocks if you'd like to, and then lengthening through the back leg, softening the knee but not touching the mat. Lengthening through the back leg, softening the knee. So just elasticating that lunge. Take a moment to just notice how different it is on this side from the other side. Maybe it's very different, maybe not at all. And then when you're ready, you can gently step off that right foot and bring the right foot forward and hold your forward bend for a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Inhale as you look forward, reach the arms out, drop your bottom, power through the legs to stand tall, reach the arms up, and breathing out, hands to the center of the chest. Relax your arms down, take a couple of deep breaths. We're resting at the end of every complete round, just for a couple of deep breaths, because it's the end of the day. We're not looking to do such a vigorous practice that we end up making our energy too high. We're just keeping everything nice and end of the day-ish. Okay, so on this round, we're going to add a little variation to our downward facing dog. We're going to do some little side squats in the down dog, and we may think about doing some other variations in future rounds as well. So standing in Tadasana, turning the palms to face forward, feeling that lift and lengthen. Inhaling here, exhaling the hands to the center of the chest. Inhale, reaching up, opening the front of the body, and as you exhale, folding forward from the hips, hands to the feet, head to the knees. Inhale, step the right foot back as far as it goes, knee to the mat, and then hold your breath as you come into plank pose. Exhale, knees, chest, and chin or forehead. Point the toes. Inhale as you roll the shoulder blades towards each other, come into a Cobra Pose. Exhale into hands and knees, and then dropping the bottom back and inhale into your downward facing dog. Here in your down dog, take your feet really wide apart, at least shoulder width apart. And you're going to come onto your tiptoes, drop your heels to the right, and then bend your knees as deeply as you can, and then straighten the legs. We're going to do that 2 more times. And then pivot on the toes to come back to the center. And we're going to bounce ourselves forward once, and then step forward on the third bounce. Into the lunge, opening the chest. Inhale here. And then exhale, step both feet to the front into a forward bend. Inhale to come up, look forward, lift the body, lift the chest, lift the arms, and reach over the head, and exhale, hands to the center of the chest. Inhale, release the arms, palms turn face forward. Exhale, bring the palms together at the center of the chest. Inhale, reaching up, open the front of the body. Exhale, lifting in the belly as you fold into a forward bend. Inhale, step the left foot back. Hold your breath as you come back into plank. Exhale, knees, chest, and forehead or chin. Point your toes, firm the feet down. Inhale into a low cobra. And then exhale into hands and knees. Drop your bottom to your heels and then inhale into downward facing dog and take your feet up quite wide apart. Come up onto your toes, drop your heels to the left and then bend the knees as deeply as you feel comfortable and lengthen the legs. Firm in the hands, firm in the belly. We're doing 3 of these and then pivoting back onto the feet, and we're going to bounce forward once, twice, and then step forward with the left foot on the 3rd bounce. Inhale as you let your right knee come down. Exhale, step the right foot to the front, and then inhale to come up. Exhale the hands to the center of the chest. Inhale, release the arms. And this is maybe a good time to do a little wrist release. So bring the palms of the hands together, interlace the fingers, elbows quite close to the body, and just make figure of 8s with your wrists. So really it's only the wrists that move. You can do this slowly if it suits your energy, or you can do it more vigorously if you would like to. Neither is better. They're just whatever suits you. Whenever you're ready, you can reverse the rotation. Gives us a moment. You aren't talking as this, but I tell you, it's quite demanding to talk and do the sun salutation at the same time. And then when you're ready, you can shake out your wrists. So on this round, we are going to do a plank variation, but if you want to simply hold the plank or drop your knees down, you can, okay? And then in our down dog, we're going to do a 3-legged dog, okay? Smashing. Oh, we're also going to do a different, slightly wider handed Cobra Pose as well. This is all good. Okay, so standing in Tadasana, turning the palms forward, firming the belly, creating that lift in the center of the body. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Breathing in, and as you exhale, bring the palms together at the center of the chest. Inhaling, reaching the arms up, opening the front of the body. Exhale, folding forward, hands to feet, head to knees. Inhale, step the right foot back, knee to the mat, and then hold your breath as you come into plank pose, but then let your breath go into its natural rhythm. So here in plank pose, bring your feet towards each other, a different variation, and simply float the right toes off the floor. So we don't want to lift the right leg, we're just floating the right toes off the floor to point backwards, firm in the belly, and then we'll rest down, and then floating the left toes off the floor to point backwards and down. If you can, one more time to each side. If you wish to, you can come down onto the belly. When you've done those, then we're going to release the knees down, chest and chin or forehead to the floor. Relax the hips by pointing the toes backwards and taking your hands apart from the mat, wider than your mat, around chest or shoulder height. Forehead to the floor, firming the belly down, the pubic bone down and the tops of the feet down. We're going to press into the hands and lift the body up into our cobra. Roll the shoulder blades towards each other, just bringing the elbows slightly towards each other as well, and a gentle sway from side to side here. Should feel a bit more comfortable on the wrists, hopefully. And then back to the center and rolling back down to the mat. Hands underneath the shoulders or by the chest, tucking your toes, coming onto hands and knees. Let your hips come all the way back to your heels, and then uncurling the legs into your downward facing dog. And here, again, the feet towards each other. And we're going to lift the right leg up, and we're going to let the left knee be bendy. So we bounce on the left leg as we hold the right leg up in the air. So just a little bounce, little bounce. And you've got the option here to step forward from the 3-legged dog or to step forward from downward facing dog. Whichever one you want to. We're going to meet up in the lunge, and because we're waiting to give everybody a chance to do the variation of their choice, We're just rolling the shoulder blades towards each other. We're going to take a little twist. So leave the left hand down, reach the right hand forward, and gently draw a big circle around the body. Press the feet into the floor, both of them. Feel that lift in the belly. We'll make 3 of these rotations, and then we're going to turn to the front, untuck the back leg, gently step forward, and hold the forward bend for a deep breath in, and a deep breath out. Then we're ready to come up. Inhale, reach the arms out to the side, reaching up over the head, and exhaling, hands to the center of the chest. Same thing on the other side. Inhale, release the arms, palms facing forward. Exhale, palms together at the center of the chest. Inhale, reaching up, opening the front of the body, and exhale as you fold, hands to feet, head to knees. Inhale, stepping the left foot back, knee to the mat, opening the chest, holding your breath as you come into plank pose, and then allowing your breath to come into a natural rhythm. So we're going to keep the feet a little bit more centered, and we're going to try to lift our hands off the floor, not at the same time, one at a time. So a little tap to the opposite shoulder. You might find that your weight transfers from one side to the other. Little shoulder tap. Maybe one more to each side. And then in the center, knees, chest, forehead, or chin. This time we're going to reach the hands behind the body, interlace the fingers. We've got a relaxed pelvis and relaxed feet, but we're going to engage the pubic bone down, firm the buttocks, press the feet down, and then roll the shoulder blades towards each other, lengthen the arms, and lift the head and chest up if you can. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And then relax the arms underneath the shoulders, forehead to the floor, press onto hands and knees. Let the hips come back to the heels. Keep the hands pressing into the floor. Uncurl the legs into downward facing dog. Take your feet and step them towards each other. 3-legged dog on the left side, lifting the left leg up to wherever feels comfortable, and then just bending and straightening the right leg. So bouncing on the right leg. And we do about 5 of these. You can either step forward from here, or you can come back to down dog and do your bouncing forward. However you get there, bringing the left foot forward, taking the right knee to the mat. We'll meet up in the lunge position. Keep the right hand on the floor. Turn to look to the left side, and then make 3 big circles with our left hand. And here again, pressing the feet into the floor to stabilize in the pelvis. Firming in the belly. Turn to the front when you're ready, untucking the back toe, stepping both feet forward, hold the forward bend for a deep breath in. And a deep breath out. And then when you're ready, take a deep breath in, look forward, reach out the arms, reach them over the head, feel that lift, and exhale the hands to the center of the chest. Relax the arms down. Take a moment. Shake out your wrists if you need to. Do whatever feels good. So here we're going to add something else on again. So if you want to, you can do any of the variations that we've done so far. You don't need to constantly add and add and add. If you prefer just to do a few more rounds, a little bit less coordinated or involved. But this time we're going to do, for those who would like to, a 3-legged dog variation that comes into a fallen triangle. So I'm just going to demonstrate. So on this round, we'll lift our leg up and bounce, just as we've done before. And then we're going to bend the top leg and open into a naughty dog. So a twist with the top leg. I'll talk you through it, don't worry too much about it. And then we're going to come back the way and draw the knee under the chest and turn so that we step our leg through between the standing leg and that arm, and come into a fallen triangle. I'm not explaining this very well here, but hopefully that has made sense. And when we do it together, it will make even more sense. So we basically slide the foot through. Don't worry, we'll have a go. If it works, it works. And don't. If you feel like it's not for you, then just do a three-legged dog or a simple down dog. At the top of your mat, standing in Tadasana, lifting in the belly, turning the palms forward, taking a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And we'll breathe in. And as you exhale, bring the hands together at the center of the chest. Inhale, reaching up, firm in the belly, opening the chest. Exhale, folding forward, hands to feet, head to knees. Inhale, step the right foot back, knee to the mat as you open your chest. And then hold your breath as you come into plank. But then in plank, let your breath be whatever it needs to be. So this variation of plank you can do on your knees if you want to, or you can do on your feet. So try it and see how you go. We're going to drop our heels to the left and lift the right arm up into the air. So we need to have the feet far enough apart to do that, or you can drop the the left knee to the floor to do it with one knee down. Taking a deep breath in, deep breath out, coming back to plank pose. And then we're going to drop the knees, chest and forehead to the mat. Simple cobra, inhaling, opening the chest. And then exhaling, straight up into downward dog, or coming through your hands and knees if you would like to. When we meet up in the down dog, feet towards each other, we're going to lift the right leg up and then allow the right hip to stack on top of the left hip and bend the right knee. Press into the hands evenly to keep the shoulders not forced to the center, but a little bit more centered. Opening the knees apart from each other, and then lengthening the right leg, dropping the hip down, draw the right knee into the chest, and then slide the right foot underneath the left leg and arm. Take your weight onto the left foot and the right arm and lift the left arm up into the air. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And then place the left foot down, coming back into your three-legged dog. And from here, bouncing on the left leg and stepping the right foot forward to the hands, we're going to keep the back knee off the floor for this variation. So joining us in this lunge with the back knee up, and then making those 3 circles with the right arm. Plenty of time to catch up if you're doing different variations, or if you just need a bit more time to transition between the postures. When you've done your 3 rotations, look to the front, press off the left foot to step forward, hold in a forward bend for a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Scoop your belly in, inhale as you look forward, drop your bottom, press through the legs to stand tall, and exhale the hands to the center of the chest. Inhale, release the arms, palms facing forward. Exhale, hands together at the center of the chest. Inhale, reaching up, open the front of the body. Exhale as you fold forward and down. Inhale, step the left foot back, knee to the mat as you open the chest. Hold your breath as you come into plank. And then just allow your breath to go into its natural rhythm. So again, we're doing a side plank variation. So you can begin by dropping the heels to the right and then pressing the right foot and hand into the floor to lift the left arm up, or bending the right knee and placing the right knee on the floor to give a little bit of extra support. Whichever variation you're doing, taking a deep breath in, deep breath out, and replacing the left foot to the floor, left hand rather to the floor, and coming back into plank pose. And then from here, knees, chest, chin or forehead. In this variation, we're going to reach the arms forward and lengthen the forehead to the floor. Press the pubic bone down and then firm the belly muscles. As you inhale, lift your arms, legs, head and chest up. Exhale as you hold. Inhale, lift a little higher if you can. Exhale all the way down. Take the hands underneath the shoulders. Tuck the toes. You can come straight into downward facing dog or through hands and knees if you like, bringing the feet together when you come into your downward dog. We're lifting the left leg up, three-legged dog, and then rolling the left hip on top of the right hip, bending the left knee, taking the knees apart, but pressing the hands still into the mat and really engaging those hands so that we don't drop in the shoulders. From here, lengthening the left leg, dropping the hips so that they're square again, bring the left knee forward, and then slide the left foot underneath the right arm, transfer the weight into the right foot and the left arm and the left foot, reaching the right arm up. Feel that lift underneath the body, lift in the belly muscles. Deep breath in, deep breath out, and then right hand back to the floor and come back into your three-legged dog. From here, you can bounce or simply step forward in whichever way feels comfortable. Keep the right knee off the ground, leave the right hand down. In that lunge, firming the feet into the floor, lifting in the belly, and making 3 circles with the left hand. Turning to the front as you inhale, and step the right foot forward as you exhale. Hold your forward bend for a deep breath in, and a deep breath out. And then we're going to widen our feet because we're holding for a little bit longer, but we want to do a bit more in it. So our elbow to elbow, or turning the backs of the hands to the floor, or maybe stepping on the palms of the hand with the soles of the feet if you like that variation, and just swaying the upper body a little bit from side to side. You can keep your knees nice and soft. You can push with the knees from side to side as well if you like. Whichever of these variations suits you. Maybe a little shaking of the head, nodding of the head to release the back of the neck. And then if you like to roll up, you can bend the knees deeply and roll up. I'm avoiding rolling up at the moment, so if you're hinging up, just lifting the chest. However you get to standing, coming there in your own time, finishing with the hands at the center of the chest. And then relaxing the arms to the sides. So taking at this moment, we don't have any more sun salutations to do. So taking this moment to roll through your shoulders, release any effort, if there's still effort in the body in any particular place. I really like to release my wrists afterwards as well. So you can do that in any way that you like. If you want to draw the backs of the hands together and roll through, you can. And the sun has set here. So perfect amount of time spent doing sun salutations. We can roll the opposite way as well. To salute the sun as it sets here in Scotland. And perhaps Liz in England, it has already set. So hopefully it timed quite well with you there. Okay, so after our sun salutations, in the Shivananda tradition, we lie down in Shavasana, because it allows all of that energy that we've lifted to come back to center. So we're going to do that now. So coming to the mat in any way that feels comfortable to you. You can leave your knees bent and your feet on the floor if you like, or you can extend your legs out if that feels okay on your back. Take a moment here just to allow yourself, your body, and your energy to arrive in this new shape. Perhaps there's a little effort to be released in your breath, and if you need to, you can breathe in and sigh out through your mouth. And do that as many times as feels useful, so that you end up with the shoulders softening, and the features of the face and the tongue and the jaw all released and relaxing. observe the effect of your practice. So perhaps by now your breath is returning to its normal rhythm. You can feel the heart returning to its normal rhythm as well. Perhaps this is the time when you notice the effort that you've made, particularly we've done quite a strong upper body practice because we've spent the last month focusing on the lower body a bit more. So if you want to, you can wrap the arms right over left or left over right, doesn't matter, over the body, and just allow the fingers to reach towards the floor. Allow the weight of the arms to soften that space between the shoulder blades. Maybe even here, waving the nose a little from side to side to relax the back of the neck. Taking one more deep breath in and out. And then just noting which arm is on top, letting the arms rest away from the body. And we're going to sway the knees a little from side to side. Again, notice where you've got tension. Do you have tension in your hamstrings? Is there something around the hip flexors that you can help to release, or the low back? When you're ready, you can bring the knees back to center and then cross the arms over the body the opposite way. Allow that space at the base of the neck, across the upper back and the back of the neck, just to slightly soften, slightly expand. Maybe it's useful to wave the nose from side to side, or gently nod the head, or just rest the back of the head a bit more firmly down. Take a couple of deep breaths here, softening that space between the shoulder blades and noticing if it's different on this side than the other side, or if you're able to get into a particular place on this side that wasn't available on the other side. When you're ready, you can rest the arms back down to the sides of the body. And we're going to bring the feet together and the knees together, firm the belly muscles, and gently twist from side to side. So you don't need to do a full twist, but as you go to the left, you want the right foot to come off the floor. And as you go to the right, the left foot to leave the floor. So you really have the ankles together. And when you're ready, you can come back to the center, draw your knees into your chest, and they can be apart to begin with. Make circles with your knees, letting the space at the low back now get a little bit of love, a little bit of release, a little bit of massaging, going the opposite way as well. And then with the knees together, same thing, circling. And you can make your circles very small if you want to access that space across the sacrum, or just a little bit bigger if you want to access the space, but not quite to the outsides of the hips, but just outside that center space in the pelvis, and then the opposite way as well. And here in the center, hugging the knees towards you. You don't need to pull them particularly close, but again, swaying the nose from side to side. And now we don't have the arms crossed. We can move the neck a little bit more freely. And then in the center, you can gently rock yourself backwards and forwards to come up into sitting, however is comfortable for you. And here I would suggest sitting up on a block or kneeling or taking some kind of support to give yourself enough lift to feel really comfy. We're going to do a breathing exercise here, but I'd like you to also take the opportunity to do this lying down if you think you will not fall asleep, or sitting in a chair, taking a comfortable spot so that you can lift the spine nice and tall. So in a breath exercise, we don't want to be forcing the spine upright so that we feel gripping in the body or rigidity anywhere. We want to create enough space to feel an expansive breath. So here you can rest your hands into chin mudra if you like to, first finger and thumb together, other fingers long, palms turned up or down, whichever variation works for you. Just note which foot is in front in your crossed leg position. Here, taking a moment to allow your body to arrive in this new orientation. Feel the firmness of the feet, the shins or the buttocks, whatever's in contact with support. And allow the body to feel a little gentle lift upright without gripping in the legs or the abdominal muscles. Relaxing in your tongue and jaw and your shoulders and face. If you feel comfortable, you can keep the eyes closed or gaze gently downward. And find your natural, spontaneous breath. And just as we did at the beginning of the class, gently deepening that breath. You can use the gentlest of engagement across the abdominal muscles to ease a little more air out of the lungs as you exhale, and then release that tension to breathe fully into the rib cage, the chest, and the back. As we work through this breath practice, you might find that that very intention to control the abdomen is diminished with your concentration on other things. That's okay. I'd like you to try and make your breath continuous in and out, without pause. The breath continuously flowing. No gap between one breath and the next. Almost like your breath was a circle. The space where the inhalation and exhalation meet are so smooth that the movement is continuous. Note your reaction to breathing in this way. Perhaps this feels very comfortable, perhaps it feels a little bit awkward, or you have to concentrate. Just noting how you respond to breathing in this circular pattern. Can you do this and relax your face and jaw and shoulders? And then add a little pause at the end of your exhalation, the briefest of pauses before breathing in again. The pattern of the breath has changed. It's almost like a crenellation. breathing in and out continuously, and then pausing at the bottom of your exhalation before breathing in and out again. If you need to pause for a little bit longer for this to feel natural, that's okay. Try to make your pause less than 4 seconds if possible. Note your reaction to breathing in this way. Does it feel more or less natural? Are you able to breathe this way and relax your face and shoulders and jaw? Then we're going to change the breath by adding a pause at the top of the inhalation. So breathing in, pausing lightly, and then breathing out and pausing at the bottom of the breath. Just a brief stop, a brief hold of the breath. The pattern of the breath has changed, it's almost rectangular. Breathing in takes longer than the pause at the top of the breath. Breathing out and pausing at the bottom of the breath. Take a few minutes to become familiar with breathing in this way. Take note of how you've responded to breathing in this way. Perhaps it feels more natural or less natural. Perhaps it has elicited some kind of emotional response. Are you able to breathe this way with your face soft, your tongue and jaw relaxed, your shoulders relaxed? At the end of your next exhalation, simply allowing your breath to find its natural rhythm, releasing all awareness of the breath and letting your hands relax if they're in chin mudra as well. When you're ready, you can draw your gaze upwards or open your eyes. So one of these 3 patterns of breath will be the one that feels the right one for you, and it may change on different days and at different times of your life, at different times of the year. If you have time over the Easter holidays, working through these 3 patterns of breath and seeing if you have one rather than another on any given day or at different times of the day that feels more comfortable. And then just releasing your legs. So we're going to stretch our legs out in front of us, keep the knees a little soft, and rotating the feet at the ankles, just letting the knees come together and apart. And the opposite way as well. So if you've been lying down, you can come to join us sitting. If you have been kneeling, joining us as well sitting. Very good. So we're going to finish with a gentle seated twist. So whichever leg was in front, if you had your legs crossed, crossing the opposite way first. And then feeling that sense of lift in the center, just a gentle engagement across the belly muscles, reaching the arms wide. Whichever leg is in front, you're going to twist in the opposite direction. So the leg in front for me is the left. I'm going to take my left hand to my right knee and my right hand behind me. And here, gently engaging that space between the shoulders, lengthening through the crown of the head. If you want to twist a little further, you can use the leverage of the arms to move the body, but you don't have to. It's the end of the day. If you like to, you can turn your head, that may be sufficient, or turn your eyes into your twist. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And then turn to the front with just your head, unwind your spine, turn a little to the opposite side and back to the center. And then if you have twisted to the right, you're going to bend to the left. So taking your left hand to the left and reaching the right arm up and over, or you may be going the opposite way. And just taking a moment here to bring your shoulder forward and backwards. Just a little wriggle through the side of the body. Use your underneath arm for support. And then when you're ready, you can fold forward over your leg a little bit diagonally here, hands on the floor, and just do a little sway of the upper body from side to side. Find your way to center between the legs. And again, you can either sway side to side or you can fold a little bit deeper. You can be really high up here and it is just as useful. If you want to hold your forward bend, you can. For just a couple of deep breaths. And then either rounding or pressing up through the hands to come back to sitting. We're going to take the feet apart and cross them the opposite way to come into the same sequence, but on the other side. So if your right leg is in front of your left, you're going to twist towards your left, opposite way round. If not, reaching the arms wide, taking your hand across the body to the inside leg thigh and reaching behind you as you twist to that side. Roll the shoulder blades towards each other, lengthen through the crown of the head. And if you want to use a little bit of extra leverage from the arms, you can. If you simply want to turn your head or turn your eyes into the twist, you can. Take a deep breath in, deep breath out. And then turn to the front with your head, unwind your spine, turn a little bit to the opposite side, and back to center. Leaning away from the side you twisted towards. So in this case, I'm going to the right, reaching the left arm up and over. And in the side bend, dropping the shoulder forwards and then opening the chest. So dropping the shoulder backwards. Gentle wriggle or rotation through the upper back. And then when you're ready, you can turn that, dropping the shoulder forward into a forward bend over your thigh. So it's a little diagonal bend here, supporting the upper body with the hands, swaying the upper body from side to side. And then coming round to the front, you can keep the arms wide. You can keep the shoulders back and down, lifting in the belly, and again swaying from side to side, just finding a little bit of space in the low back there after all of that sitting. And if you want to, you can reach the arms further forward and fold into your forward bend here, or you can just stay up. It doesn't matter. It's not better to do one than the other. It's what you feel you need. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out, and then either rolling or padding the hands back to upright. We're going to take a block for release in relaxation, but we're coming to relaxation now. So if you want to, You can put on some additional clothing, grab a blanket. I know it's been warm today, but it is, at least it's been warm here in Scotland today, but it's going to cool down. So now the sun has gone, taking the opportunity to put an additional layer on. I'm wearing my It's Spring top. Sorry, please excuse me. And then having your equipment close by if you need it, but not just yet. We're going to come down onto the back, bend the knees in, and just take an opportunity to do a little supported back bend. So floating the hips off the floor, sliding that block or support of some kind underneath the back of the hips to support the sacrum, the bony structures behind the pelvis, and reaching the arms wide, relaxing the upper body, maybe a gentle sway of the nose from side to side. Feel that breadth across the chest, the weight of the arms surrendering down, the shoulders relaxing. If you want to, you can let your feet come a little bit further away from your buttocks. Just take a moment in the center to allow your body to arrive in this position, make any adjustments. And then if you want to explore a little deeper, you're perfectly welcome just to stay here if it's useful for you, if you don't need to do any more. If you want to explore a little deeper, you can bend your left knee in towards you and lengthen your right leg away. So you can use both arms if you want to draw the left knee in a little deeper. You can float the right heel off the floor if you like. You can leave the right heel down. If you prefer, you can do tapping or swaying, as we've done in our other classes, whatever feels most useful for you. Try to relax the shoulders a little and relax the face, because when you can release tension from your face, it's easier to release it from the other areas of the body. One more deep breath in and out on this side. And then floating your left foot down to the floor. If your right foot's turned out, bring it back to center and then slide the leg back in. Take a moment to observe the difference between the two sides. Bend the right knee into the chest, lengthen the left leg away. Whatever you did on the previous side, if it feels right, do that on this side as well. Or you can add to it, or you might need a little bit more of a release here. Taking your opportunity to sway or tap or float the left heel off the floor, or simply leave it down like me. Hugging the right leg as deeply towards you as feels comfortable, as feels like it's achieving something for you. Try to soften the shoulders, the face. Breathe deeply. And when you're ready, releasing the right foot to the floor, turning the left foot to slide the heel in. And if you're up on your block on a lowish setting, that would be best. If you're not, come to a lowish setting. Bending both knees in, taking the feet up towards the ceiling, reaching the arms wide. You can bend your knees as much as you feel you need to, and then just circling the ankles a few times here, a few times in each direction. Watching the blood drain out of the feet. Resting the Venus return. And then in the center, just waving your feet as if you were waving the soles of the feet towards the ceiling. And then we're going to bend the knees into the chest, float the feet to the floor one at a time. Take the opportunity to just let the pelvis settle for a moment. Release the breath through the mouth if you need to. And then when you're ready, you can float the hips a little bit up to release that block out. Taking your hips down, and take a moment before you prepare for relaxation just to observe the effect of that posture. And then throwing a blanket over you or making the adjustments that you need to. If you want to, you can have a bolster underneath the backs of the knees. You can take legs up the wall. You can take a regular Shavasana, whatever feels good. You can have your feet bent and your knees on the, no, your knees bent and your feet on the floor. So coming into the relaxation posture of your choice and making any adjustments you need to bring that posture into comfort, fidgeting now. And when you're ready, bring your body to stillness. Take a deep breath in and sigh out through your mouth. Repeat 3 times. A deep breath in and let all your effort go. A deep breath in, let your muscles begin to relax. A deep breath in and surrender your weight down into the mat. Allow your breath to fall in its natural rhythm and fall into quietness. Take your awareness into your forehead. Feel it soften, the space between your eyebrows spreading, the area around your eyes releasing, your mouth, tongue, jaw relaxing. Allow the whole of the body to feel heavy, warm, supported and releasing down. Draw your awareness to your breath. Allow your breath to fall in its slightly deeper but still natural rhythm. Repeat the word love in your mind as you breathe in, and peace as you breathe out. Breathe in love. Breathe out peace. Breathe in love. Breathe out peace. Allow your body to relax a little deeper with every exhalation. Gently begin to deepen your breath. Bring your awareness back into your hands and your feet by wiggling your fingers and toes. If you want to, roll the wrists and the ankles. When you feel ready, take a deep breath in, stretch the body in any way that feels good. Maybe yawning to stretch the face. And in your own time, gather yourself, gather the knees in, make any movements that feel good with the back, with the neck. In your own time, find your way onto your side. Just pausing for a moment, allowing the body to come round slowly. Then when you're ready, coming to any comfortable upright position and bringing the palms together, rubbing them to get a little bit of heat into the hands. So you can do this slowly. You don't need to be so very vigorous. You can press quite firmly and just keep rubbing the hands until they begin to get warm. And then maybe just rub them for a little while longer until they get a bit warmer. And when they begin to feel a little bit warmer still, placing the hands over the eyes. Feel that warmth soften any last vestiges of tension from around the eyes. Blink into your palms a few times, releasing your hands down as you open your eyes. Namaste, guys. Thank you for putting up with this slightly different practice than expected because of the jiffy back. I hope you have a wonderful Easter and I look forward to seeing you next term. Namaste.